Hi, welcome to Skyny Wandering. My name is Peter, and today I'm going to give you a tour of Ledge County Park. It's in Dodge County, overlooking Horicon Marsh. There's a campground here. We're going to do a full tour of that, walking tour. But first, we're going to take some hikes and check out the trails along the ledge here. And what I mean by ledge, there's a ledge. It just drops off from here going down. There's more of the park down below. There's a little creek down there. Haven't been down there yet. Haven't taken a look at anything. We're going to wander some trails off that way and see what we find. Now, one of the reasons I have chosen this park to explore right now is I've got a beautiful late April day, and this county park as a campground opens April 15th. So it is open, it is active. There are several people staying here, and it's 70 degrees today, so it's a great day for this. I did spend some time out in the Horicon Marsh today, checking things out, seeing what birds are moving around. Some of the migration is already completed, but there are sections that are closed due to migration still. But as far as I know, this is the closest public campground to Horicon Marsh. So if that's what you're looking for, this is available. There is a private one down at the edge of Horicon, but this is the closest public one to take advantage of. So where I just did my intro from was a very nice boardwalk out to a perched out viewpoint looking out at Horicon Marsh. But the rest of this trail, not an accessible trail, I would say. It's very rocky, rutty, along the edge of the cliff. You have to be fairly sure-footed for this. Definitely no bikes or anything like that on here. It's not heavy stairs, but it's not a smooth surface. Now this park is on the, say, southeast side of Horicon Marsh, between Mayville and Horicon. Well, this is a little surprising. Following the trail, and I guess the trail doesn't go all the way to the end of the point. Somebody else owns this, because that's private property over there. So I guess I'm looping back around. So now the trail's running along this other edge. Campground's up above that. And there's this obstacle. Looks like you're supposed to climb over it. But look at the size of the handholds. Those are some tiny finger grippers. It's like they bought those finger grippers online from Temu and it came out tiny instead of rawr. Okay, for clarity, started down here off the edge of the campground, went out that trail till the end, kind of went out, came back up. Now I'm somewhere in this world. I guess I'm on the blue trail, and it's also sort of an exercise trail, and that's what that little climbing wall was. Now you can attempt to do some chin-ups if you're so inclined. Now the trail does sort of zigzag through the woods, but it's clearly marked, clearly visible, and it kind of bounces off the edge of the park boundary and back, but it's easy enough to follow. Okay, the trail has brought me back to the campground. This part over here, I'll get to in a little bit. This is the electric loop through there. Those are the numbered sites. Coming off of that in this pit toilet are the lettered sites, which are the non-electric sites. First one is this massive one here. This is group site A. I think it's the only group site, but room for whatever you want to try to squeeze in here. Just over there is a big green space, public space, playground, stuff like that. This has its own green space and trails off the back. Now the sites get a little weird as we follow this road loop through. I'm going to start by checking out site E. E has its own driveway. Go straight and you hit the other sites. We'll do E and come back to this point. So this is the drive for E. Comes way in. We're backing up to some other sites over here, but it's kind of isolated off in this general spot. I don't quite know where its parking pad is. The only gravel area is where the picnic table and fire ring is. So have fun. See, I'm hiding on the other side of the loop over there. And then this continues on out over there, pops out further down. So it's a very isolated, odd space. Okay, we're back at this point, going down the path here. Let's see how we get a number or lettered here. Which one's first? Okay, C on the right. Small, simple little site. The fire pits are sunken and it's behind the picnic table. D over here, which I would consider a pull through if you want it to be, or just back in here and leave that as the mossy, wonderful land it is for tents. That's paved. F, clearly a pull through. Pull in, back in, however you want to use that. Again, the fire pit's hiding behind that picnic table. G is over here. Big, wide space. Kind of dirt, not so mossy. I thought I had a gator coming up behind me. That's cooler. Exiting here is E, coming off as we come around the corner. And then there's a bit of a gap before we get to the next ones. All right, H over on the left. You can clearly see there the fire pit sunk deep in. Simple parking pad over there. The rest is kind of muddy, dirty. It's not my favorite kind of surface. I over here with the tent. Someone's added some stones around the fire ring. And when you do book, they put a tag on. Trail access here, coming off. There's several points where you can catch a trail around here. J over on the left. This one's kind of slopey in and out, but it's very large. Now, another group site over here is K. That explains why it just kind of goes back and wanders around. So we're going to take a quick look at group K. There's a fire ring over here, what I would consider kind of a pull through, but don't fall in. Now this group site kind of lives on the first ledge, then it flattens out, then we get the big ledge. So it's not immediately you wander off the back and you're gonna fall off a cliff. You're just gonna stumble down some rocks. Now we are a bit away here from any restroom by the time you get out to this group site. And then I gotta drive there and drive there, figure out how you're gonna use it as a group. All right, coming up on N here, which is a pull through. And they've got multiple units going on in here. It's quite large. All right, just up the hill from N, we have a newer vault toilet. Plenty of parking next to it if you need that. Does appear to be water there. And then site over here is a pull through with a nice little site off to the side of it. Then site P. Not super large, but not one of the smaller ones. So we got a little more length to it than some others. Q is massive. Again, we're in non-electric land here, but if you don't care, you've got endless space in Q to back in. This goes way, way back. Any size rig would fit in here if you don't care about power. And once the trees fill in, you won't get any solar either. R here is a big pull through. Lots of space to play around here. Nice mossy area in the back for tents behind the picnic table. Big space. Now I'm over an S here. Get you a full sense of this site. Just about the right size for me. What's parkable. I could come around the corner and use this, but this is a little softer. Nice place for tents back here in the mossy area. And this is what I mean by sunken fire pit here. Now across from my site, I've got T and U divided by that log. So there's a lot of room here to work with between the two, and they do feel like if these are the kind you want to book with a friend, this would be a great place to do that. Get T and U together. You can share the spaces, work it out however you want. If you don't book it with a friend, you might make a new friend. Now, this takes me to the end of the non-electric sites. I'm going to go back down to the beginning of the campground and walk you through the electric sites. All right, main entrance, day use area along the drive, along the cliff over here. Farm fields over there. And then first thing we come into is there is a road going up to the scenic overlook, but that's where you exit the campground. You can only drive up to that scenic overlook. As you come in the entrance here, we got a dump station, water here, and shower house. The only person who's near the shower house is the camp host, and there is firewood available. All right, in the shower house here, back shower, 2 curtain, front shower, dual curtain, that's kind of weird, and basic facilities available. All right, firewood, you get to pick 10 to 8 pieces for $5. Drop your money over at the camp house site. All right, after that main little area down there, we're heading up the hill to the sites. The first couple sites are going to be immediately to the left. I didn't see any signage saying, hey, go that way. This takes you to the playground and the day use area. But over here, that's 3. So 1 and 2 must be camp hosts. It's an interesting little tent added onto the teardrop there. So 3's off on the side, 4 here. Now the next couple sites are like Michigan campground, where it's just wide open. You have your table and your hookup and nothing between you and your neighbors. So 5, 6, and we'll just go down the line, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 at least, all just down this row. Nice little playground back there, shelter that's reservable. There's a swing set and sort of a gravel pit over there, and a ton of green space. Over here, that pit toilet and that drive lead up to the non-electric sites, the lettered sites over there. Okay, 10, 11 has a parking pad, and you come in on the other side of those 2 trees. Now I'm going to play the numbers game. Higher numbers are out there, lower numbers are on this side, so I'm going to go through this little drive first, and then I'll come back and do that. So that was 11, backing up to the row of sites. 12 here has its own site, a little more ice, starting to get some definition. 13 is over this pad over here. These are all pretty level. Fairly long if you look from here all the way back. 14 next to that. This one's all gravel. 15 is this pull through around the tree. Not a huge site, but not too small. 16, get a good sense of what fits in there. 17 is over here, all the way back to the power pole. That's a pretty long site there, lots of room. All they need is a skid steer out here and they can start spreading some more gravel around, or that's the gravel pile the kids always find to climb on. 18 over here. This one had a paved pad that is starting to disappear. And behind the table is where the fire pit is. And then 19 over here, tripping on some sticks. 19's in this space. That's nice and wide, what you want there. Then as things join back and we're in the public space over here where you can drive up to, we've got 20. This is a big pull through and easy access to view of Horicon Marsh and probably a great sunset location. Great space behind, looks mossy, great for tents back there. Now I have to go back to get 21 and the rest of them on the outside. All right, back at that split point, I got 11 over here in the row of grassy fields, the grassy play area, pit toilet, non-electrics up there, and 21. That's this little pad here. 22 next to that, not a very big space. Keep it small in that one. I've got a gap. Okay, not a pit toilet, that's just a water source. This is the end of the electric sites coming down. 23 is not where the truck is, it's on the end here, which is this space. He's in 24, parked sideways. Whatever works. Gives him all that extra room in there by doing that. And I think that's it. I don't think I have any more sites along there. All the other ones are on the inside. So all those inside sites only have the traffic going to those sites. Everybody else comes around the outside. So that's my tour of Ledge County Park in Dodge County, right on the edge of Horicon Marsh. Things to know. 14-day stay limit, but you must move after 7 days. So you can't stay put for 14 days. You can be in the park for 14 days, but after 7, you got to move sites. At least that's what I thought I saw in the rules. Non-electric, $20 a night. Electric is $25 a night. There is a $5 booking fee for your stay. And you must book everything online. You can pay for the firewood with cash, but you must pay online for your site. And unlike a Wisconsin State Park booking, if you book same day, you don't pay that reservation fee. Here you still have to pay the reservation fee, even same day. But I was able to come here, I looked online, there was a bunch of sites available, came here, looked at the sites, decided which one I wanted, and picked this site. Very happy with it. So that's my tour. Like I've said before, I'm trying to get more of the county parks in this year. I've covered the state parks, I've covered the state forest in Wisconsin. I've done quite a few parks outside of the state as well. But I need to give these county parks a little more love. I will skip over ones that I don't think I would stay at. This one is a lovely little park. I am happy to be here. There are others that seem more seasonal only. I don't even know if they offer the seasonal option here, which I like, which means it's more just regular campers coming and going, coming out, enjoying it, moving on, checking out something else. But if you're into the birds and want to hang out near Horicon Marsh, this is a great place for that. It's an easy drive down. It is a bit of a drive to get to the north end driving loop in the reserve over there, but it's really not far down to other parts of the marsh. So thanks for coming along. If you get something out of this, please like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one, and get on out there.